Welcome back to the Photography Show TV studio. Joining me from Affinity Photo is James. Hello, James.
Hello, you okay?
I'm all right. It seems like a very long time since we last spoke.
It does, doesn't it?
But
more than 2 years ago now.
I think it has been.
I think it has been.
But in a strange way, it seems as though we've never been that far apart. And that's certainly the vibe I've been getting from the Photography Show so far this year. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the studio. We're going to be chatting a bit about that A that you've got on your T-shirt, very, very proudly being worn.
A bit like a Superman logo, yes.
Affinity Photo, for many people, they'll be very familiar with what it is that Affinity Photo does. For some people, maybe first time in this area of the world, you know, having fun with photography, it might be new for them. So give us the elevator pitch for Affinity Photo.
Well, it's basically a raster image editor. It's very fully featured. There's primarily a focus on non-destructive editing, lots of layer-based work and that sort of thing. You can't really mention Affinity Photo without kind of bringing designer and publisher into the mix. So just a quick guide to that. We produce them as like a trio, a core suite of creative software. So Photo takes care of your image editing. It's primarily for raster-based work, so photography, image compositing and so on. Designer does your graphic design and illustration. That predominantly works with vector. And then we finally brought out Publisher as the last of the three, which ties it all together. It not only does desktop publishing, but we have a shared file format and a shared code base. So projects that you save in Photo and Designer, you can easily just bring them into Publisher with no interchange format required, you know, no export required, and so everything kind of is just designed to work very seamlessly across the board. So, in context of the photography show, Publisher there's a bit of relevance there because it's great for laying out portfolios and designing magazines, which has some relevance, of course. But yeah, there's also the shared code base. So improvements made to Publisher or Designer, they get folded back into Photo and vice versa. In fact, version 1.10, which we've not long released actually, that was more like a maintenance release. So unfortunately, there's nothing big and juicy to talk about, but it is exciting for the long term because we've kind of radically overhauled the performance of the applications in terms of memory management, dealing with huge complex vector files, perhaps not so much relevant for photography, but again, these changes have come through to Photo as well, so you see improved performance in Affinity Photo.
Sure.
If we're talking about the juicier features, 1.9, which again is not long released as well, it did introduce Astrophotography stacking.
Right, okay, so I can understand why that's going to be helpful to make sure that you're getting as much detail into your final output as you can, usually with multiple images.
It is, I mean, it's been a bit of like a passion project for one of the developers and myself. We're both keen astrophotographers. It was something we felt, was very niche, but it would enhance the value of the software tremendously. And also there was a bit of a personal bias to it. I mean, I was previously stacking in different software and then bringing it into Photo to edit. And I think the developer in question thought, well, to be honest, I just want you to do the whole thing in Affinity Photo. So he basically set about doing it, and that was it. And I think it came at a good time because with lockdown, I didn't anticipate this, but there's been quite a burgeoning interest in astrophotography.
Yes, because you can do, depending upon where you live, you know, if you live in a city, then there are challenges there. But, you know, for many people, we've, throughout lockdown, been looking for creative projects that we can do without having to travel too far, you know, and if you're fortunate enough to have a garden or a balcony, then there's this wonderful thing called the sky that we, you know, most of us have access to, that it's a shame not to be able to do something with. So makes sense what you've been bringing into the product there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so again, just kind of contextualizing Affinity, there are other photo editing packages out there, of course, but what would you say is Affinity's secret sauce, if you will? What makes people enjoy working in Affinity in particular?
I think there are two things that stand out for me. And again, this is kind of like from a broader spectrum of, obviously we demo to companies and so on, and individual groups. And the two things I pick up most are the non-destructive editing. And also there's the shared file format, which means, I've discussed that already, so I'll focus on the non-destructive editing. Now, it sounds kind of very broad and general, but a lot of the behavior in not just photo, but all of the Affinity apps, the behaviors are intrinsically non-destructive.
Yep.
So we're often asked, for example, I'm going to reference some other software here, we're often asked if we have an equivalent to smart objects.
Okay.
And the answer we give is no. There is no kind of like right-click, convert to a smart layer type functionality, because intrinsically everything is non-destructive anyway. And there's a simplicity to it, I think, which once people get their head around, once you change your mindset, you're not just expecting it to be a clone of other layer-based editing software. It becomes like straightforward.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of like this. It's overcoming this hurdle of initially there's the complexity of learning the differences, but once you actually learn them, it's more straightforward, it's easier to use, and it's faster. And especially if you're doing complex compositing, which some people will be doing, some people will just be touching up their photos.
Yep.
It covers the entire gamut of workflows, basically, quite aptly, and there's always room for improvement, of course there is, but we're very reactive and we like to listen to
and the fact that you're
companies and
here at the photography show, listening to people who use your software, taking in questions from people who maybe don't use it, but asking about how would I be able to do that. This is stuff that you can feed very quickly by the sounds of it. You talk about the astrophotography example there, feed very quickly back into the product. And what do you, very quickly, what's your presence here at the photography show this year? What are you showing people?
Well, we have a little stand. We're sponsoring the live stage over in the corner over there. So we're selling the software at a reduced price of £25. The RRP at the moment is £47.99. So we sell at £25. We are selling the workbooks as well. We don't have physical stock here, but we can also sell them for half price for £25. And we'll take an email and ship it out to people.
It's a ridiculously good price. It really, really is.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that I'm allowed to do demos every day on the live stage.
Sure.
Just quick 15-minute snippet demos and some editing stage sessions as well. I've gone for a bit of a technical focus this year, a bit more complex, so we'll see how that pans out, but it's very exciting. So that's basically what we're doing here,
Brilliant. Well, listen, James, thank you so much for being here. First of all, it's terrific that we have so many familiar faces here sharing what they do and what they're so passionate about at the photography show. That's what we love. And thank you for joining us as well in the studio. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the interview.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Ben from Adaptalux.
And I'm Sam, the company founder and product designer of the Adaptalux studio.
We're really excited to be back at the photography show, showing off our products and sharing our love for macro photography.
Our product, the Adaptalux studio, is an adaptable lighting system which is ideal for macro, close-up and product photography.
Sam and I will be on our stand running product demos, macro tutorials, and of course we'll have our lighting available for you guys to take away today.
You will also be amongst some of the first people to see our upcoming addition to the studio, Xenon flash arms.
So come and visit us to get hands-on with some creative lighting and to take advantage of our 15% show discount. We're just around the corner on stand J103, which is next to the video live stage.
We're really looking forward to seeing you soon and we hope you have a great day.